We sing as one for this country we're walking on. We stand together to protect this land. For the future, we're hand in hand.
Warning. The following program may contain traces of irony, sarcasm, satire, parody, mockery, banter, caricature, and nuts. The opinions expressed are almost certainly not shared by self-appointed officious dictatorial wowsers. If you are dangerously irony deficient or allergic to mockery of the self-important and corrupt, then get a life.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for another episode of the Environmental as Anything podcast. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Sean O'Shannessy.
Inabitiri warbana ngamungugan Pajana ngayang undarago Ganggu nagabandara Dina burbar dumbanya Let your light shine through the darkness It radiates regardless For one your stars are largest Now everyone can see you dancing.
That is a little teaser of Under the Stars from Gurridyula, who is our next visitor, next guest here on Environmental as Anything today. Now, Gurridyula is coming from all the way from way up there in North Queensland in the territory which is under attack from Adani, and he's defending his country from that attack. And so we just wanted to get him on to tell us what's going on up there and how we can give him a hand with that important work. I should also say I have with me in the studio across the desk at the moment I have Violet Coco. So she's gonna join us in this conversation today. And well, thank you, Gurridyula, for coming to joining Environmental as Anything today.
Waddananggu. My name's Gurridyula. I speak Widi. I'm from the Wangan and Jagalingou people, which is located about probably maybe 4 hours west of Bowen, inland. It's about 2.5, 3 hours drive northwest of Claremont, which is the closest town. I'm basically living on country at the moment, which happens to be the same place as Adani's Carmichael mine lease. Essentially, I'm on the northern side of the road, where he's on the southern side of the road, and we've been occupying this area now for 710 days today. We've had a sacred ceremony fire going at the front and at the back here now for that whole time. Rain, hail or shine, we maintain these fires. And we've basically put ourselves into a position where we've used their own laws to stop them from removing us from here. So essentially there's a high court case which is called Brown versus Western Australia. In that high court case, it actually gives us the right to coexist with mining companies. So from that then, I used the high court case then to leverage that with the Queensland Human Rights Act and say, well, there's a precedence already with this case. I have the human right to be here, and if you stop me from being here, then we're going to take you for limitation of my human rights under the Queensland Human Rights Act.
Yep.
So we've been fighting against Adani since he first came to us in basically 2012. Our group said no once, and they came back to try again. Then we said no again as the whole group. And then they splintered the group and paid off a few representatives of families and basically got a fake Indigenous land use agreement across the line. Our family never consented to it. We never signed the agreement. We have always opposed it. And so through the 5 federal court cases that my father ran, subsequently he got bankrupted from that, and the courts made him pay court costs from Adani's lawyers, which was about $970,000. So then that basically ruined him. It ruined him from being able to travel overseas to stop investors from funding Adani. It stopped him from going to court. So after that bankruptcy, then that's when I started coming back out to country here and started taking country back by building ceremonial grounds. So I built the first one in 26th of August 2019, and then in August 2020, 26th of August 2020, I built a fire in the middle of the road, about maybe 5-6 kilometres away from Adani's camp. And I essentially blocked the road for a week and stopped Adani from using that road. He had to use his own little rail corridor road, which was an extra 20 minutes on a good day.
Yeah.
So from that area then, we set up in the pastoral lease area where we call it the Gurridyula, the Bigfoot. It's a little area where there's all these untouched trees that have birthing trees in there, which is like our people's placentas that are in these trees. And so the police came in and removed us from there. So we put in a human rights complaint, and the Human Rights Commission came back and said that we had a case against the Queensland Police. We went to mediation. We had them on 5 human rights breaches. And so they wrote a letter, and the letter of regret stated, we accept that Kub-bah, which is my old man, represents a group of Wangan and Jagalingou people aggrieved by Adani's occupation of their tribal homelands.
Wow.
I didn't write that. QPS wrote that. So inevitably, they recognised us going around native title. So through that then, I used that against them then. So then I created an event called Adani Carmichael, which was basically a bike ride, a 105-kilometre bike ride from the Gregory Highway all the way to Adani's pit. So there was about 100 bike riders that came along in this remote part of Queensland just to ride on this road, just to, basically piss Adani off. And the police didn't want to do anything because we just got them on human rights.
Yep. Well, that's sounds like a strong position to be in. I think Violet was part of that.
No, I wasn't there, but I was watching that happening, and it was absolutely incredible. I've been watching the whole campaign actually happening, and it's been really powerful. I believe as part of that you also held ceremony for how many days were you in ceremony for to hold them off?
Yeah, well, the first account I held them off for 2 weeks. That was on. It was a block of area that was originally unallocated state land, and then I rocked up there, put a flag up, and then the government, when they found out that I was there, they changed it over to freehold title. So then I was fending off Adani and the police on freehold title, and then in 2021 I was on a pastoral lease fending off Adani and the police on the pastoral lease. Now I'm on a mining lease fending off Adani and the police on the mining lease. So I've kind of covered all my bases, I guess, of land titles to get here.
It's amazing. It's been a really incredible journey, and yeah, what's the support been like? You've had the tour to Carmichael mine.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, the support has been such overwhelming. Like, as you know, that The fight to stop Adani has basically been one of the biggest campaigns in Australian history. And so to let that go to the wayside and him just carry on, I was not going to let that happen. And because I'm a really stubborn person, my great-grandfather got dispossessed of his roof shooting business and got put onto the back of a truck at gunpoint with my grandfather at 7 years old, and taken to a prisoner of war camp, which they call Cherbourg now. And then they subjugated my family up until the late 50s, until my auntie swallowed cayenne pepper and she had to go to the Children's Hospital in Brisbane. That was the only way that they could get out of Cherbourg. We've been fighting against this government and this system since we got put to their prisoner of war camps. My grandfather kept running away from the mission, and they called him Breakaway Ernest because he kept running away, and they kept tracking him down and putting him in isolation. So this anti-establishment, this anti-government, this get our land back type of mentality has always been ingrained in us, in my family, through that to my father fighting for land rights my whole life, basically. And then I've just taken the torch. I've watched the greats. I've watched the best land rights activists my whole life. My father has had access, and I've had access to meeting these people. And I've studied them, and I've created my own techniques to be able to create blueprints for other tribes to be able to enact the same thing, to be able to create this environment that other people are allowed to come and be a part of that community.
Just
in
on
the
that,
Queensland Human Rights Act, we have the right to. Everyone has the right to be a part of our community, so they can't discriminate on who's Aboriginal and who's not.
Wow.
Yeah, totally. And I think one of the things that really shows that is your song Get G'd Up to the Gomeroi mob, where, you know, you give them this real sort of props and solidarity. And when I heard that come out, I was just so excited because it's been such a struggle for them fighting those gas wells. And so to feel this solidarity and strength between different nations and mob is just incredible to sort of observe and experience.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just instilling power. It's instilling this sort of pride in yourself that if you're in the cities, you're going to get subjugated. Take yourself out of the cities, get back to culture, and you'll find that that's where your power is, because this government has no way to address that. So it's creating these platforms, because any other way that we've tried, we've just been getting shut down. You know, I've got a lot of mates from FLAC, from Frontline Action on Coal, and they've done a lot of good work, you know what I mean? But I find that we're reaching to a point where they don't care about any of that stuff. They don't care about protests in the street.
I'm very surprised to hear that.
That is like a knife to the chest of mining industries, because now legally they can't move me.
Yeah.
And now I have it on my driver's license, as Waddananggu is the address on my driver's license. They have a fake assault charge on me that they brought another Aboriginal person in here. He's not even from this area, and he's coming to do cultural heritage work. And so, because they're using an Aboriginal, in commas, in brackets, company that is not even an Aboriginal company. It's just another Adani shell company to make it look like an Aboriginal company, and just hiring other Aboriginal people from other areas to try and pick up my artefacts. So in this court case that's happening, even in that, it says that my residential address is Waddananggu, 662 Moray Carmichael Boundary Road, Beliando, which is here. You know what I mean? So the courts are now starting to recognise it. The Department of Environment and Science recognises it. Agricultural Department recognises it. Queensland Police recognises it. How many more departments do we need until the federal government wakes up, you know, and they start to realise that I didn't need their native title, because they took away our native title. They changed our name from Wangan and Jagalingou to Clomont Beliando, which aren't even our words, and then extinguished our native title, so we have no rights to any of our land now. So we're the only mob in the whole of Australia that has changed our name. So that's ethnic cleansing. They tried to kill us off because we stood up and said no.
That's right. That's the continuation of the genocide that's been occurring on this continent for a very long time. And
it's the same mentality that they still have. So the problem with that is it's the 21st century. I'm not going to let that happen anymore. You think I'm going to let them roll my people and steal sacred country back off us again? That's not going to happen. Well, because this is the 21st century. I ain't getting shot by the police.
No.
And what I've done is Sun Tzu says, to win a war, you must capture the whole army. And what I did was I caught the whole army of the Queensland Police.
You did?
They can't do anything because I've already got them on a human rights case.
I remember them having to apologise.
And I'm about to do them again on another human rights case.
Yeah. It sounds to me like they haven't taken account of the fact that you are the survivor. You are the offspring of people who have survived this genocide, and you've learnt how to keep being a survivor and how to keep winning this battle that you're fighting. It sounds like you've really learnt that lesson. And I wanted to bring this back to what you're saying a bit about there's other ways. There's some of the ways that you've been most effective are to do with music and art. When we look you up online, you're a prominent musician, and your music is all over the place. When anybody looks up Gurridyula, you're right there, and that fight that you've been having, you've taken into that artistic sphere and put into expressing through your music. Can you tell us a bit more about that journey? How you came to be a great hip hop artist?
Yeah, well, my whole life I've been a musician. I've played the didgeridoo ever since I was 8 years old, and I was like one of those prodigal kids that was really, really good at the didgeridoo when I was a kid. And so that's the only instrument that I really stuck to my whole life until I got to hearing hip-hop. And then I found that I could, because I didn't speak any words of any language until I was 4 years old. The only thing I used to say was, gow, gow. And then I spoke full sentences. So I didn't go through the, it was just, I'll hold off until I know how to speak, and then I'll start speaking full sentences. And then from then, 4 years later, I start playing the didgeridoo, incorporate that same sounds again, and, then when hip-hop comes along, I then create it in a way that it's like I'm playing the didgeridoo and just creating melodic flows and things like that.
I can really hear that. When you say that, I can really relate to that in having heard all of your music just over the last, this last week, listened to it quite a lot, and I can really hear that in it. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, it's something that, it's my own style, which is also, I'm a product of Tupac. I'm a product of Redman, Method Man, Eminem, growing up with all these different types of people, but also listening to all different genres of music, growing up with AC/DC going in the house, with Bob Marley as well, I had such a different genre mix in my life that, it's not specifically just even hip-hop that I enjoy making. It's all different types of genres, but I'm trying to get this Waddananggu album out, and because I'm recording it all in my trailer, which I'm currently sitting in at the moment, in the middle of nowhere. I basically just, because I've been using Fruity Loops, a music making program, been using that for about 25 years now, and only just recently bought the real copy, like maybe 5 years ago. Ever since then, it was all just bootlegged. But, that's how I learnt, I guess. And, everything just comes out of here. I make most of the beats, like On a Mission and Under the Stars and Dear Anna and Rockin' a Hard Place. And a lot of these songs, I've made a lot of these beats myself.
Yep.
And,
well, we played Dear Anna earlier in the show. We played Country Boy. And,
yeah, that was a savage one, hey? Like, I'm sure she's heard that song by now, surely.
I'm sure she doesn't want to hear it again. I'm sure.
Yeah, and what better way to get the message out there and make her listen? Because, this is really, really personal we're talking about here. My family grew up in Inala, where she grew up. My cousins went to school with her. But she knows who we are.
Yeah.
But she turns the other way when my dad is even in the presence of her. And so she's just had a vested interest because her husband was working for that, what's that company that was doing a deal with Adani to get the $1 billion loan. They're currently going through some stuff now. I can't remember, CGR or something.
Look, that's a detail we don't have to worry too much about. But look, we probably...
Yeah, anyway, it's all about like getting the message out there, and it's all about how can I portray a message in a way that all my music, you listen to it, it's all basically a timeline, and it's basically a documentary of my mind, and basically what I'm thinking at that time and what's happened.
It's impressive. What's in your mind and what you're thinking and how you get it out there is deeply impressive. And, so I wanted to get to you're having a big event up there, the Waddananggu 2-year celebration coming up pretty soon. And, I reckon people are going to want to come up and participate.
Yeah, I was at the Rising Tide event and I heard you perform at the Rising. I was lucky enough. You gave a talk and you performed. Are you going to perform again at your event up at the anniversary?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to perform again. It was kind of bad timing last time because I was like playing when everyone was eating. So it was like there was not much of a crowd. I kind of felt like at a bar type of thing, but I'm like... but
I had a good time. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, as long as you enjoyed it, it was good.
I did. I was a bit starstruck. I was like, oh my gosh. I can't believe you're alive.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, I'll be performing all my songs. Hopefully we can get some more other artists up here as well to do some performance. If there's anyone that wants to jump on and do a thing, the area is massive, so we got like different areas for different things. We'll have like women's circles and stuff like that. Maybe even some like headband making workshops, and we'll have a little dance floor area with like just beats going all the time. It's from the 25th until the 27th of August. Mm-hmm. If you want to register, go on to standing-our-ground.org and just register under the Waddananggu celebration. Make sure you're quick because seats are filling up. There's only so many people that our friends kind of want to try and handle for. So we've got a limited amount of tickets. So get in quick. We've got about 94 sold already, which last year we had about 45 sold at this time of the year. So
I heard reports of people who went to last year's event, and you can see in their eyes that it really changed them, that they felt like they'd connected to
family.
Yeah, that's right.
And once you come to Waddananggu and you become a part of our ceremony, then you become a part of our community. And once you become a part of our community, then you're covered under human rights as well to be here. And so it's basically like a secret club. If they can have the Freemasons and we're not allowed to know about what they're doing in there, then we can have Waddananggu and they're not allowed to know about what we're doing in here.
That sounds awesome.
Welcome. And then once you come through the ceremony, you get in on the secret. And so
I want to be there.
I want to be there.
26th to the 27th, come on up. Everyone's welcome. Even if you can't make it for those dates, more than welcome to come up either before or after, or if you can't make it, help us out by sending some gift cards or something like that, or if you'd like to donate on our website to be able to make the event a lot more hospitable with some more toilets and stuff like that would be great.
It's expensive running these events and doing a campaign, and I think it's really important that people do support frontline action and particularly you, Gurridyula, because what you're doing up there and to stop Adani is so important, and to hold space in your country is so important. So, yeah, absolutely. If people can't make it there, they should be donating. Is that still on your standing-our-ground.org website? Great.
Correct. Yep. And if you'd like to donate, chuck us a couple of bucks. It goes straight to us. The money goes straight to buying food for the camp, and it goes to fuel to get into town and stuff like that as well. And it maintains a presence here because at this point in time we're holding off 12,000 hectares from being destroyed. And so that's your contribution, and you're monetizing your support by showing your support in that area. And
because it's not just Adani.
This is a game changer, and this will create something big, and you can feel like you've been a part of something.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I've got chills.
Yeah, me too. That's awesome, Gurridyula. I'd really like to be there in 3 weeks, and I'm sure that people will go and have a look at www.standing-our-ground.org, and also they could check you out on Bandcamp, and where they can help by download some music, which is absolutely awesome.
That goes straight to my account, which helps me buy music equipment to help get the message out there more. So like just buying a song is just going straight to supporting me as well.
That's great.
I'm also on Spotify as well. I've got some other songs. I've got to put the rest of my songs on Bandcamp.
So you can go on Bandcamp and download and buy a song, and that goes straight into your account and support to continue your art. That's so exciting. That's really
good. I was just I was
on now.
Found them there and went, oh, this is really good. I'm listening to this and enjoying it. Oh, I'm listening to the second one. I thought, well, I'm just going to download them all and pay for them. They're great. I mean, this is terrific.
Can I introduce some very boring radio and ask how to spell Gurridyula?
Oh, yes.
It's Gurridyula. It means wedge-tail eagle in our language.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Gurridyula, for joining us today. I feel like we've really, hit some high spots, and it's been quite moving actually hearing your story, and we'll hopefully others will be moved to come along and join you in resisting that genocide, which they still want to continue.
And protecting that beautiful country up there.
Yes, exactly. And, I appreciate having me on here today. Bart and Sean, it's been a pleasure. I'm just going to keep going hard. I've got a chicken in my van at the moment, so I'm going to get out of here. Welcome to the bush. I appreciate the help to get the word out there, and everyone, if you want to come up to the Bullaroo, which means two in our language, the celebration, everyone's more than welcome.
Good one.
Thank you so much.
We've got a song lined up. We talked about it earlier. Do you want to announce it?
Yeah, so this one's called Under the Stars. This is a song that I wrote where it's talking about the enjoyment of being out in the bush here underneath the Milky Way galaxy that is such a great sight out here because we don't have any light pollution.
Great way to invite people to come up there. So thanks, Gurridyula. We'll talk again.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
This is Under the Stars from Gurridyula at the Waddananggu, is his country, as he calls it, up there in the Wangan and Jagalingou area. Here it is, Under the Stars.
Inabijiri warbanang amangugan Waddananggu undarago Ganggu nagabandara Dina burbar dumbanya. Let your light shine through the darkness. It radiates regardless. For one, your stars are largest. Now everyone can see you dancing. Nighttime you come alive. And I think how far apart we are, but still linked, our hearts and minds are like in sync. Even though we're light years away, feels like you're right here to say, don't mind if it might not be today. Fight to be bright, you'll lead the way. Look at the sky, I'm under the stars. Be complete just where you are. I decide on how I feel today while I'm dancing on the Milky Way. Look at the sky, I'm under the stars. Be complete just who you are. I decide on how I feel today while I'm dancing on the Milky Way. We're dancing like stars, we're glowing like Mars. This is the right path, so die hard. Live life like it won't last. Chromecast your problems into the fire, just go, brah. Let your endorphins do the talking. Keep moving your feet till it's 4 a.m. You'll be losing some sleep. Right here's where you're choosing to be. Despite fears, you could do them with me. Nothing to worry about, we got them all covered. There's no cloud, shout out loud. You're gonna rediscover yourself. Could you naturally have it? Now it has to be felt while you're dancing on the galaxy belt. Look at the sky, I'm under the stars. Be complete just where you are. I decide on how I feel today while I'm dancing on the Milky Way. Look at the sky, I'm under the stars. Be complete just who you are. I decide on how I feel today while I'm dancing on the Milky Way. Ladies and gentlemen, Pleiades is our home. We are the remnants of alien chromosomes. And many will never know, passed down through DNA millennia ago. This is real heaven, listen. 7 sisters on a mission around the globe to instill wisdom. Then they had to go back and we lost the roadmap. Know that decisions were made to go crack our genetics to deal with magnetic fields. Kinetic energy is what we wield, epigenetics revealed, yeah. Embedded in you, intended to use. When we birth, I'm sending out the EPIRB. I'm like an antenna. Frequencies frequently frequent me secretly in my dreams. So I'm a dance at a high elevation of vibration, defy gravitation and fly. Look at the sky, I'm under the stars. Be complete just where you are. I decide on how I feel today while I'm dancing on the Milky Way. Look at the sky, I'm under the stars. Be complete just who you are. I decide on how I feel today while I'm dancing on the Milky Way.
You just heard Under the Stars from Gurridyula, and before that we heard from the man himself, who is inviting everybody to go and join him under the stars. You can go and find out all the details from standing-our-ground.org and head up there and help to resist Adani and to resist that genocide which is ongoing. So we have 4 minutes to 5, so we're very close to the end. Violet, we've got a few things we wanted to get across before we close the show off.
Oh my gosh, are we going to have enough time, Sean? I don't know. Save the forest.
Okay. I will then.
Okay, let's go. In 5 minutes. No. Well, thanks for having me here. It's been really cool talking to Gurridyula is really powerful. He's, big hero of mine in terms of direct action, and I'm just a little bit starstruck. But now I'm going to try and do it for the forests. We're going to do it for the forests, which is what next week is all about, and the week leading up really, because we are trying to end native forest logging nationally, and we're applying a lot of pressure to get that done. There's a big Labor conference coming up, and so all around the country, Bob Brown Foundation has been really pushing a big rally in lots of different places, and we've got one here in Lismore, in the Quad. In Lismore is the Bob Brown Foundation rally. It's right here.
The world comes to Lismore.
The world comes to Lismore. That's right. It's going to be so beautiful. In true Lismore fashion, there's going to be some beautiful artworks around the space. There's going to be some cool musicians, Mandy Nolan is the MC. That's going to be really hilarious.
Mandy's always good value.
Mandy is incredible. I'm really excited for that. We've got the Knitting Nanas coming. We're doing a ceremony, a commitment ceremony to the forest. We've got dress up wedding dresses. If you've got a wedding dress stashed in your closet and you're looking for an excuse to bring it back out.
No, I've got my old wedding dress somewhere.
Yeah, exactly, Sean. I knew that you would. I do. I never wore it for a wedding, but every girl's got a wedding dress stashed in their closet just in case. And let me tell you, the forests have proposed, and they say, will you commit to protecting me? And that ceremony is happening next Saturday.
Just say yes, people.
Just say yes. I do. And so if you want to marry the forest, come on down. Or if you want to watch other people marry the forest, come on down.
And also, of course, there's another action. Justine Elliott, the member for Richmond's office at 111 Minginbull Drive in Tweed Heads. That's on the Friday. 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Fridays for Forest is going to be at Justine Elliott's office to put extra pressure on. But we are going to have to wrap it up now because we have got literally 1 minute to 5, and we're going to say thank you for being with us here on Environmental as Anything for another week, and we'll meet you again next week between 2 and 5 for another 3 hours of all the interviews, analysis and everything else, fun and games that we can cram into it for our planet Earth. And we're going to go out with one last track from Gurridyula called Liar, and I'll leave it to you to guess who he's talking to, but it's we've already had one song for her today. Here it is, Gurridyula, Liar. Please remember to be kind to each other, be gentle with yourself, and remember we're all in this together.
I'm about to showcase a premiere, put her on stage, we'll be calling it crochet, hemming her up. She must be broke cause she's given out no change in 8 years. I've been stemming this grudge, I'ma wait it out, and we can debate about it on how the government is an enabler and they're making us unable to be capable of defeat. And I don't wanna see it cause it's clear to me I'm the table, brah. Think about the system while I'm pulling your leg. You're getting crabby cause I nicked the night, or roof is out on me. You're playing with death of your career, stay in your desk, nefarious lies here, great areas, man. You said what you said and we'll never really trust you again, cause you're a liar. You read from a script that you've never read but spit, cause you're a liar. When you say one thing but you turn around and do nothing, cause you're a liar. Cause you're a liar, yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Environmental As Anything podcast. I'll be bringing them to you as regularly as I can. If you'd like to tune into more of this kind of material, there's plenty of episodes available. You can subscribe to our podcast, and while you're there, you might as well rate it and help spread the word by sharing it on social media if you can. We're on social media, of course, on Facebook particularly. You can find us anywhere you look for Environmental As Anything. And if you're really keen to see the show carry on, please do go and support us on Patreon. Again, you can find us by just searching Environmental As Anything Patreon. Thank you for your support. Be gentle with yourselves, be kind to each other, and remember, we are all in this together.